Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Q. I hit the wrong thing. Episode 64, Nintendo 64. Could be the best episode, who knows? Things work out that way. This is the Download Queue, your new weekly place for video game news, discussion, topics, conversation, whatever it is, breakdowns. We got it all this week, including first thoughts with South of Midnight, Blueprints, Marathon, and the unveiling of this year's Xbox showcase, because it's my time, Kyle. This is my hype train hitting off the station. We're all funneling into June. Everything's funneling into June now.
Especially the pre-orders for the Switch in the United States, because that's not happening soon.
God. I thought there was a chance. Every day, every day, you get the highest of highs, there's a slight glimmer of a chance, and then in 2 hours, something else crazy happens and just tanks it. And then it's back to normal the next day, and then it just crit tanks.
Yeah, it's going to be like that for a while, I think. At this point, who knows? It might just be a buy day of no pre-order type thing. It might be late for that. At this point, they just got to wait until it normalizes, How do you plan for something that changing and not changing is the same and not the same? It's all over the place, and no, it's not. But man, to be any company right now, have fun with that shit. But
best of luck. I'll catch everyone at the midnight launch again. No pre-orders. Gonna be a lawless wasteland out in the streets for the Switch.
Hell yeah. There's one truck and it's going to be on Route 66 from the
just toss them out the door as it drives by.
That's it. Mad Max style competitions to go get the truck. God. Let it happen.
Hope everyone is doing well this week. We were talking just before. It's a weird time. There's so many different things going on, both in gaming, in real life, just across the board. But it's like the early baby steps. We're getting the running start for the rest of the year. And that starts with the releases. It starts with some new reveals we got. It starts today. We got Last of Us Season 2 starting tonight. So many different things. Don't get to me that face. It's good. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we know everyone knows what you're about to get. So,
I mean, maybe. I don't. I've played them.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. There's a lot to cover this week. Where would you like to start, sir? Because we got some Kyle stuff, we got some me stuff, we got some everyone stuff.
Kyle stuff.
It's
wait on that.
Okay.
I want to hear about you and Blueprints. Because I know you were playing that earlier today. I hopped in for a little bit, lurking, and then I was just listening and could not follow what you were doing without watching and understanding what Blueprints was. But it does sound complicated. It sounds like a game that has some layers to it. But people have been talking about this game a lot since it came out. Game of the Year contender easily for a lot of people. I listened to the besties. They just wouldn't. I mean, they had a whole episode about it, and what they said was fascinating. About this game. So tell me what your experience has been so far about this potential Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, so Blueprints is an experience. It is full-heartedly an out of left field type of release, to a point that up till this week, I'm assuming when you said besties, you're talking the kind of funny besties, yeah?
No, Justin McElroy, Griffin, Christopher Plant, and Russ Frustick. They do the besties podcast. So that's what I'm mentioning.
Okay.
Specifically. But yes, the best friends specifically, kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did also get a little bit of their coverage, but honestly, I want to be as blind as possible to this game, like listening to you play it, but I just don't want to see anything.
Yeah, I'll tiptoe around.
Or as much as I want to.
I'll tiptoe around. But yeah, out of left field, never heard of this until Kind of Funny did their review stuff. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday dropped. Tuned in. All of a sudden, everyone on there, Jason Schreier, Bless was on there. Game of the Year, this year's Balatro, not Balatro, Balatro, game of the generation, one of the best games of all time. And immediately I'm like, Porke? I don't even know what the hell this is. This is a first. I have seen no trailers. I want to jump in. And then I look online, Game Pass, PlayStation Plus. It's everywhere for you to try out and enjoy. It is at its core, a lot of people have been using roguelike, which I'm not because I don't think it fits in that category exactly. But it is a adventure puzzle game where you inherit a mansion from a family member high up on a hill, nice beautiful location. And as you enter, the layout of the mansion randomizes every single day. So when you go to a door, you're given 3 options of different rooms and room types that you could place there, each with predetermined layouts of maybe it's a dead end closet situation, maybe it's something that goes out and has one turn off to the right, maybe it has just a long hallway with multiple doors you can branch off of to kind of continue your route. And your whole goal is trying to get to some fabled uh 46th room is the baseline story they give you, room 46.
Yeah,
So,
and jumping in, I know I haven't played it yet,
yep.
but I mentioned this in your stream, and then I listened to the Besties podcast between your stream and now, and Griffin mentioned the same thing. That room formation and discovery, laying down, it's similar to a board game called Betrayal on House Hill, something like that. It's a Betrayal of House on House Hill, where it's the same format. You're putting the pieces of this manor down, and then each game it's like a different house every time. So he said it was very similar. So it's like if you've ever played that, that's what this apparently plays like, and that instantly gets me more excited about what this game is fully, because I mean I played a ton of that board game a couple years ago when we were living in like not a commune, but basically working at a nonprofit. That game was so much fun, and then different horrors and shit coming out of it. Fun game. If you like board games, that's one to give a shot. That gets me, like I said, more excited into Blueprints. Just wanted to add that because that kind of made clear a little more what the gameplay of the game is to me, at least.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think anything that is like that, because it's this idea I've seen before, obviously, and I think that gives people kind of a baseline to go off of because it quickly unravels into just a giant wiry mess of cables trying to manage everything that's going on. So each day you're given 50 steps to make your way through. Enter a room, that's a step. If you enter and back out right away, that's 2. It is very unforgiving. Like, you need to plan. If you don't want to enter something, try and look through the doorways to see if there's anything you need. And that's very top level. Um as you go through, you start finding letters that reference other people in the world, other family members, kind of the lore of the building itself and why it changes, and how that kind of ties into gameplay. So some rooms, an example of very top level again, um there's green colored rooms, which are usually like greenhouses, patios, stuff like that for plants, whatever. You'll eventually find like a book of an old gardener who laid out the plot of the land, and this area has good soil. This is not so good. So you get different outcomes if you place certain rooms in certain squares type thing. Uh if you have a line of certain colored rooms in a row, those can tie into a different room and cause something to happen between them. It's just so many little threads going on that at first it's overwhelming. There's so many things happening with nothing going on. There's very minimal music, there's no voiceovers, there's no, just very minimalistic across the board, but you're trying to unravel and overanalyze every little thing you come across, which at first it was super exciting, right? Whole new, it's like a theme park. You walk in, you want to take in everything. And then you go on your second day and things are kind of the same. You get a different layout, obviously, but the rooms are the same. And you enter room B that's got the exact same puzzle type as the day before. So you're like, okay, that's kind of usual. Day 3, same thing. Day 4, same thing. And it's not till you really start by chance unlocking specific rooms that give you clues or hints to other puzzles that you really get a sense of progression. Um, and it's not in a bad way, but it quickly, after like an hour and a half of playtime, to me, I start feeling like I've hit my natural wall and I'm just doing the same things for the sake of doing them. Like, I'm not gaining new information. There's no items you're taking from one run to the other, which is why I said I don't really consider it a roguelike. There's very specific rooms that'll be like a freezer that freezes your money, and then you could take it over. But other than that, everything's reset every time at the beginning of the next day. So it's really learning information and the lore of things to carry on with you the next day rather than in-game items. Even stuff like safe combinations, certain puzzle outcomes are the exact same every single time. So it becomes a by the numbers thing. Past that, there's, keeping it without spoilers, there's very unnatural things happening in the back end, which you can come to assume. The house changes shape, like rooms change. That should be obvious. But the route it goes down, I've now reached a point where some rooms I'm looking up, just not a guide, but pulling up if there's anything secret here I should be looking for to start getting faster unlocks and how I'm rolling things to get a more natural sense of progression for me instead of hitting that wall. And there's things that are happening, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, this was not on my bingo card of what I would be experiencing in this game. Um, it's hard to pin down though as an experience or a game though, because for me, I'm not usually a puzzle guy. Stuff like The Witness, I've never touched. I doesn't it not here to me, like it's not my jam. But this day one, I played for about 2 hours and I was like, I've had enough. I'm good. I see where this is going. I see it quickly unraveling into more things that I don't want to manage or mess with in my mind right now. And then the next day I wake up and I'm like, damn, I want to try a couple more runs of blueprints. And I hit that wall and I'm like, I'm good again. And then the next day I'm like, damn, I want to do a couple more runs. And I'm curious to see how long that goes. I've kind of funny, especially they were like, hey, like I said, this is this year's Bellagio. This is going to be the sleeper game of the year hit. I'm curious to see how long this trend for it lasts, just because of that higher level of thought you need to give into it. It's not the easy pick up and go that Bellagio was. Um, and I don't think it is going to be for everyone, just because if you do hit that wall and you're not someone to look up stuff, how easy it is or how long it takes for people to start finding those natural cues to keep going, how long that's going to keep people tied to it. Because there's a lot here to uncover. There's a lot of really special things going on. You just got to be really, really dedicated to it. Um, I think Jason Schreier said just in the review he was at like 117 hours or something wild on it, and he beat it at
With
like
yeah, with credits around like 20 to 30, I think.
yeah, like there's reaching the
So
46th room is top
credits is just
level.
one part.
And yeah, after that, I'm already I've reached the last room, but it's locked, and you have to find the ways to unlock it from either of the three sides. It is
Got
on
it.
the
Yeah,
map at all times. But even after that,
this
I'm
looks
like,
cool
yeah, I see where it goes after, and I'm just curious how long it's gonna last.
for you. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you are both like really kind of frustrated with the game, but then it has rewarded you enough to keep you coming back, which is a puzzle game, I guess, right? When you can't get the puzzle and then once it clicks, it's like, oh yeah, and you feel smart. So I'm very intrigued to see how much further you go based on where you're at right now, As once I beat South of Midnight, which we'll talk about probably next, that's the game I'm up into next. And I am very excited, but I wanna wait. I'm in very close to beating South of Midnight. I just need like a night or two, and then I can dedicate myself fully to it. But then next week we can talk fully, or as much as we can.
Yeah, when you start, I want Discord conversation going between us, because I feel like that
Start the channel.
is gonna be a new level of it, of like naturally doing things that way. And then you found this one, I didn't find this, but like that I feel could keep it going for a lot longer if you have people around to do that.
That's what it seems like. Also, a good water cooler game, especially once you roll credits. That's kind of what Besties Pod circled around as well. Don't get hints as best you can. If you need them, go get them, but like try not to, because the game does reward you and apparently it does teach you stuff eventually. That's not the right way to say it, but I haven't played it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's special. Um
Yeah, you
it
sound
is,
like so mixed on it, but then super high on it at the same time.
but it fits the game though, because you feel mixed when you're playing it. You think you have an idea of what's happening, and then it just turns on a dime. Like, it fits with what the game is. And for this,
I
I
wonder
just
if
looked up,
there's
it's the
a
studio's first game too. Like, go off if this is your
thing.
first outing.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a point that you'll hit that where everything clicks, whether it be puzzle or just a little note on the ground that like ties it all together, or just like finally gets you to a point where you're like, hell yeah, I'm in. Like, I gotta keep playing this,
I hope.
or not. Maybe it never grabs you.
It's
You sound like you're at the crossroads, or you see the sign in the distance of like, am I gonna keep playing or am I gonna stop? And it's like, it's coming.
do
What
I
are you
want
gonna
to
do?
plan out specific runs to reach that next goalpost? Like, that's where it comes down to.
I know, yeah. That's what it sounds like.
But
Yeah. Well, we'll see next week where we both land on that. Cause do you intend to start it within the next week?
that's what I've been playing. I know what you've been playing because I've also been touching it a little bit. Let's move on.
Yeah.
South of Midnight,
Yes.
the next release from Xbox in 2025 after a 2-year long wait from reveal.
Yes.
Go ahead, take it.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay, yeah. Yo, what a game, right? What an experience so far. I am loving my time with South of Midnight. I think it is easily up there, will be up there for game of the year for me. The story is, in my opinion, is so good because of how the game, the story, the music, everything coalesced into one experience. They really achieved the experience of South of Midnight. I think that comes through, and experiencing what their version of the American South is and these Southern folk tales that they're kind of recreating and propping up. I have a smile on my face so much throughout the cutscenes and with the music cues. The gameplay, while can of course be deeper, it's not the most in-depth system. It's pretty straightforward, especially. I'm having so much fun with it. I'm playing on, I think there's 5 difficulties when you get the choice. Playing on the normal, the middle one, and I'm having a blast with it. Like I by the time, I've never gotten annoyed during combat. I've died a couple times, never got like super annoyed. I've beat it the next time. If I ever was almost annoyed, that was the last enemy was right there. I was like, oh, sick. It's over anyway. So I've enjoyed my time with the combat. I feel like there's a good flow, using the abilities and a balance to it, especially when you unlock double dodge. Oh my gosh, that's on the general tree. When you get down and double dodge helps a lot if you're having problems getting that parry and dodging window correct. Like that helped a lot. And I just feel like the game is incredibly fluid. Going from thing to thing to thing. I'm in chapter 10. I have loved every chapter. The music, what they're doing with music is so awesome. I love it. The first spot where you're learning about 2 brothers, and I forget the other, one of them's name, but you're learning about it, and it culminates in the song being played as you're climbing up this giant tree, and just the music cues timing up with the reveal of like me fully realizing what this story that we're being told is. I was like, oh my gosh, this song's it's on repeat all the time. I'm listening to it all the time because it's I loved it. And from that first music cue, Bungie, when that starts playing, I'm locked in. I see what they're doing. I got teary-eyed with it. Just, I don't know. There's just something really special about this game. There's just a vibe to it that I am Like, it's clicking with me. I am loving it. Chapter 9 and 10. Chapter 9 is crazy. The ending of that, like story wise, I'm like, oh shit, okay, hell yeah. And it looks like there's, I think, 13 or 14 chapters. Perfectly paced so far. Definitely you could want more. I could see if I'm comparing it to big AAA, big budget games. Yeah, like you can expand everything more. You can make the combat a little more in depth. That's not what this is. I don't expect this to overstay its welcome. I think it's knocking it out of the park. It's Compulsion's best game, having played a little bit of We Happy Few and having touched Contra. I just think what they're doing with South of Midnight far exceeds what visually we thought, what I thought we were going to get going into. It doesn't feel like that. It feels so much better. I'm in love with this game. I can't wait. I'll love it even more when they add a photo mode. I'm pretty confident that's happening. They're retweeting and reposting and liking a ton of comments and posts of other people that are talking about photo mode and all the screenshots people are taking. I'm taking screenshots, putting it on my phone and editing them on my phone to just have some fun with, like, I'm just, the world that they crafted, the art direction, it's just so special to me. And I absolutely love it.
Perfect. To tee off of that before I go into it, in case you are new or not in the Xbox ecosystem or aware of what South of Midnight is, their official premise: South of Midnight follows Hazel's journey after a hurricane devastates her hometown of Prospero. Pulled into a southern gothic reality where folklore creatures emerge, Hazel must become a weaver, a magical mender of broken bonds and spirits. Along the way, Hazel encounters all kinds of mythical creatures based on Southern American legends as she confronts enemy creatures known as Haints and untangles her family's past. Hazel seeks to reweave the tears and the grand tapestry and find a place that feels like home. Um, yeah, you mentioned it for me with Blueprints that I'm right on the edge of continuing going on. I'm right on the edge of absolutely loving South of Midnight and it being the highest 4 out of 5 I'm gonna give this year. Uh, I had mentioned before it came out for me personally, my only hope for this is I wish it was the big step that Compulsion needed to do the next big thing for them and get into that upper tier of developers, and they're right there outside of everything but combat for me. Which seems to be the biggest deciding factor for a lot of people. It either is fine with people like where it was for you, but for me, it's the repetitiveness of everything and very clearly entering a battle room here, being walled off, and then you got to go through the fight the enemies, go up hit Y, fight the enemy, go up hit Y, and then you go to the spawner, whatever it is, the main thing there, like causing the stigma to release into the world, hit Y on that, go to the next zone. That's the only thing that's really fallen short for me. Outside of that, what a game. What a world, what a story, what an art style. If this doesn't get best soundtrack and music at the Game Awards this year, we are doing things wrong. Just so incredibly high on every other aspect of this. It's giving me just shy of like Psychonauts 2 vibes as far as action platformers like this, which was my game of the year back then. I don't know if this is gonna last that long for me to reach that number one spot, but this, I'm so happy with everything I've done so far. With Hazel, her journey, my boy Crouton, what a guy. I just wanted a Crouton side game, you know? And
That's funny.
when they did the last showcase for it, they had showed him on a stream. I screen grabbed that guy. He's been my gamer picture since then. Love him.
That makes sense. I love that. Yeah. It's in like it's interesting that the combat and like the arenas are like obviously I get why it's a point of contention. They are very telegraphed, right? And when you, I don't know, when you're like, oh, I could see the seams, I can see that this is where I fight. It's a video game. I get that, but I don't know. There's something about the way they build up to it and set it within the world of like, no, this is like a spot where something happened, something traumatic happened, a part of this a little story we're getting, right? That's what this stigma is, this place that is just stuck, and right, you have to unravel those emotions and that stuff for this person to figure out what's going on, and then it kind of heals the area. So while I get it, I guess, yeah, it's very telegraphed. I think they set it up perfectly. I think the way it also opens up the arena after, it's not like, I feel like there are other games that feel more arena like. This more feels like I'm in an open world, and maybe it's also the later levels are more open as well. I'm not sure how far you got and what chapter you're on, but I feel more of it's like there's this thing in the map that's like almost like a tower, right? You don't see everything, and then once you get it, you unlock it, it opens up more, and now you can continue on. I felt, for me, the flow hit, the loop that they created between for each chapter of the story they're telling, I think works really, really well and keeps me going. It's clear where you're supposed to go, and then you find a thing, but if you look to the right, oh, there's another path, or you go that way, you're going to find whatever the upgrade skill points are called. I'm not sure. You find that, and yep, go back the other way, and that's the way you go, right? I think it's very straightforward and simple, but in a way that's executed in a way that works for me. I don't find any of those perks that you're I know other people have brought up about those areas specifically. I don't know. I think they work for me fully.
Yeah, I see that. I think for me, I think you said it yourself there, actually, where it's a very video game thing to do, which in this case for me, with how fantastical everything else is around it, it hits. I'm like, okay, we're doing this now. Which, again, not bad. It doesn't make me hate it. Like I said, I'm still fine with it. I just wish it was more, or if it was an open world experience or something like that. Um, I am chapter 6, I think. I just
Okay.
finished Two Toed Tom and went off to find Molly, hugging Maggie, whatever her name is.
Hugging Molly.
Yeah,
Oh, hugging
that's where I'm off to next.
hugging Molly. If you know, you know.
I don't know
You
yet.
know, you know. I know.
Um,
I know.
but
Oh,
yeah, I'm shocked at how surprised I've been with it so far. Uh, Going into it, they talked a lot about the music and how important it is to the game and story, but I don't think people realized how much that actually meant, or how actually deeply woven it was into things. Things like with Benji and Rhubarb was the other brother's name at the beginning.
oh, thank you. Yeah.
The slow build up to that, and over time getting more parts of the song added in up to the final section where it's just one big blowout as you do your kind of a final ascent without spoilers. It's just magical. Like, it is that feel good, heartwarming, just hell yeah, we're doing this type thing.
Which is so funny because when you know the story, it is a tragedy. Like, a lot of
Terrible.
these stories are tragedies, but there's a beauty within that because it's, I don't know, not, it just feels real, and it's like, oh, it's raw. And it's not like you're seeing it happen. It's like, this is what happened, and this is what got people here, because everyone is the way they are for a reason. Everyone has a story, and if they're an asshole, it's not because they're just an asshole. There's a reason, whether that's right or wrong, right? There's always reasons for something, and that's an awful thing about life, because you can look at people and be like, oh man. Anyways, but and this game explores that within the story, and I just love that. And
The
yeah, the music, they're doing a series on socials right now where they're posting a behind the scenes of each song, and they go into how they build the song and what it means and different artists they got. And the music, yeah, is so interwoven. They have full songs recorded. Like, a song for Benji is like 5.5 minutes long, and it's a full song, and it's awesome. That, as you're going through each final segment, like, they play sections of the song having the story, and you're like, whoa, that's cool. And then finally, yeah, it crescendos at the top. And not everyone is like that. Each song is set for each story, and it makes sense, especially when you look at the lyrics. Some of these songs, like I said, they're tragedies. They're not, the song is fun, it might be cheery, they might sound sad, and they are sad. Like, these lyrics, these are really, really good songs. It's this, I love that they put so much attention to detail into the songs, and interwove it within the story and the gameplay, because that, you don't have to do that, but I think that does help the segments, especially when you're like, here's a fight, oh, there's one chunk of hell, oh, time to go walk again. That may happen a couple times, and while that could, while I understand people will be like, it's the same thing over and over. You hit it, you got to get the chunk third, go do a thing, another third, go do a thing, final one, yay, right? Yeah, but they're telling a story within that, right? They're using that system not just to say, let's drag out a boss fight. They also are saying, you're going to be here. Here's something to listen to. And while that lands better and more better for some of them, I appreciate it.
As a side note, I'm gonna start keeping a tally because when you do that chunk of health and you go to the next area, do the next chunk of health, it's even worse when you glitch out the boss Kyle and have to restart because you just continuously have issues with stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
It's
I'm having no issues.
got literally it was the only one like, of course this would happen to me. I'm like, I'm gonna start keeping track of this.
This game is like I'm driving on the Autobahn. There are no speed bumps. I'm going to 85. I'm just, if I stop, it's because I'm slowing down to smell the roses. Like, and I am doing that quite often, trying to get the nice little camera angle to wedge Hazel up against the building so I can edge her out of the shot so I can get a nice landscape or get her perfectly in frame. Give me a photo mode compulsion.
Do it, you cowards.
I think they are.
I will say the last thing for me personally, I'm I'm excited to talk about it when we both finish. The thing that really caught me, and it ties in with the music, it ties in with the combat, it ties in with the stories they're telling, and kind of the similarities between Hazel's journey with her mom and then the little stories they're telling throughout. When you do the stuff with Benji and it finishes off, my first thought immediately was like, that's really how this ends? Just kind of hard cut off like that? Like, I want a resolve or I want more story or what
Yeah.
happens next after it. But then immediately after, in a story moment, it's like Hazel's mom doesn't get that with what she's doing in her job on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, oh shit, that ties that so perfectly. I was like, I
Their
get it.
mom's a social worker. They tell you that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Just, not a spoiler per se.
But I was like, they said that. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And it puts Hazel's journey in direct comparison with her mom. Like, fuck. I don't like it
I
at
was gonna
first, but that's so good.
And I was like gonna try to hint to you, like, just wait, like they add context to that where it starts to make sense because even later on it becomes even more like clear, right? That yeah, Hazel is mimicking her mom's journey in her own way, right? She's just doing what her mom was doing, but in a totally different way. And she kind of was like, I didn't even know. It's such a good little story that I can't wait to beat. But one last thing about it, like I do want to like the authenticity to Southern culture seems like people seem to have felt like it landed well and feel respected by it to a degree. This is like a kind of hard to like talk about in a way, but like I'm gonna go for it, right? Playing this game, I'm like hearing cues and seeing things and like briar patches, and I'm like, this is like Disneyland in a lot of ways. Specifically, a now ride that doesn't exist at Disneyland. Splash Mountain, based off of Song of the South, old Disney film. The ride talks about Bear Rabbit and the Briar Patch and all this. And like going through this game, there's so many moments of like, oh my God, she even mentions Bear Rabbit and Briar Patch at one point, very, very early on. And I was like, but like one thing that Disney kind of is not doing well anymore, not these days, it seems. But especially when they designed Splash Mountain, they were really true to what that experience was in their own way, of course. But they did steal a lot from that culture, and seeing that kind of carry over to a totally different property and IP is like, oh shit, okay, so that's just what Southern culture is. And I'm like, whoa, okay, that's getting more exposure to it. So from my experience, having gone to Disneyland a ton and having spent a ton of time in that park and in New Orleans Square, which is so Southern inspired, and Disney just loved that shit. To see like those same thematic stuff carry over, it's like, okay, there is a commonality between this stuff. And I think for my little experience, that just makes this game feel even more realistic and more authentic. It makes me want to learn more. And like, I love folk tale stuff. America doesn't have that. We hide our history because of all the shitty stuff and you don't want to address it, which is awful. But there's so many unique and beautiful stories. I'm just appreciative of this game, and I really hope the story lands for me. I'm feeling like it will, based on seeing other people's reactions as they roll credits. I'm like, all right, this should land for me. I am hoping so. So can't wait to see the end of the story here.
Yeah, that that part specifically, like you said, it's hard for us to talk about, but I feel online almost across the board, I've almost seen no negative connotations or people taking backlash to it from that community. Everyone is very appreciative of it, of the care and work they put in to realize it in a real way that's relatable, right? And that's I think that's why I'm so intrigued with it, because the stories that they're telling, it's not like their documentary, it's not widely written down stories. It's mostly word of mouth stuff that gets passed down, or stuff that isn't easily accessible or marketed to general audiences like this. So it's something fresh and new, and I want to learn more. I want more of this if it's a South of Midnight tour, if they just expand on this world and region. Like, it's such a special thing to have, and I'm Compulsion nailed it with that, I feel, for us talking about it and how people have reacted to it personally.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, yeah, it's important. Exposure is important to get rid of stupid biases just because you're not exposed to things. So the more you know, it's just, we gotta be more curious. Be curious. And I'm very curious to see how this game ends.
Need to beat the game, need the photo mode, need a crouton side game. Everything will be right in the world.
I honestly just want another song that slaps as hard as Bungie does, because that's so good.
I
He's my
started
brother.
before you, and like the next
Benji
morning, and I
his
went to
name.
work, and you like tweeted the lyrics. I'm like, there he is. He's at it.
He was my shame. I love it. It's so damn good. I don't have my guitar anymore, and I wish I did. I would literally have been learning the chords of this song because I'm hyper fixating on it hard.
What
But
people
anyways,
aren't as hyped about this week as we are on a South Midnight, it's kind of a surprise to me. Yesterday at the time of recording, April 12th, we got the big unveiling for the next game. I'm not gonna say IP because it's an existing IP, but next game
yeah,
title entry for Bungie, legendary first party studio or first person studios. Sorry, obviously Halo Marathon in the past, Destiny that you is your shit for the past 10 years. Like, they are.
got a Destiny shirt on right now.
There you go, world renowned, well respected, and they spent the past couple weeks setting out marketing for Marathon and doing a big unveiling that we talked about last week. And I'll be honest, getting a Bungie new game release to as mixed and meddling reviews as it has been that I've seen so far was not on my 2025 bingo card. I I am shocked at the reaction this has gotten so far, people's discussions, and I am very curious and cautiously worried for where this is going and where Bungie is going under PlayStation currently and how this is currently unfolding.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hopped into the stream that started like maybe like a minute or two after, and there's just five guys sitting around talking. I said, "Oh hell no, this is what they're doing." Which is what they have done for Destiny, right? That's they do this for Destiny premieres, right? But I'm like, this is how you're starting off a marathon reveal. Oof. All right, this game is not like I instantly was like, this game is not coming out this year. Surprise, it is still, but they have a closed alpha coming up. But like for the reveal to start with just people talking about the game, like this is what it is. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we've done, and no one can see that. It was odd, right? But once you get the trailer and gameplay, like I think it looks awesome. I think it looks cool. This art style, it's an alpha, so I feel like the shading and everything will get a little tighter. I still think it looks good, but at time it does look a little cartoony and not finished. But hey, again, it's an alpha. Hopefully that can get fine tuned and not be an issue or an eyesore. But it's just like the very specific things, like no character customization. There's going to be 6 runners at launch. Okay, you can kind of do whatever you want with the abilities, but there are some specific things. It's just I don't know. I feel like people are comparing it to Concord, which isn't fair. But another multiplayer focused game coming out under Sony, you can't not draw the line to it. But so far, I just feel like it was just a lackluster reveal and just left me going, all right, that's fine. I think it looks cool moment to moment, but it also just looks like Destiny gunplay, right? What's going to be different, of course, are the loadouts and slightly the abilities and the mechanics, but even then, like, the gunplay is still going to be that. So, what is the point of playing Marathon? That seemed to be the biggest question for a lot of people, too. Like, it's fun moment to moment, essentially, but what is, like, why would I commit to playing this? Why would I keep coming back to this? Especially since it is not a free game. It's not going to be $70, they said, but it's still going to be what, probably a $30 to $40 game, just like Helldivers. So is that going to get an audience to sustain it? Do they care? Is this, there's a lot of question marks. I think people expected, especially since they did a huge rollout this whole weekend on social media with little tidbits and such for the hardcore community to find through URLs and a part of the Discord. Like, there's a lot behind, like, going on to this reveal if you were the hardcore waiting for this. But at the end of the day, it just was like a wet fart. Kind of disappointing for all.
Yeah, so I was in the stream. I was in the countdown for 10 minutes. I was excited going into yesterday. I talked way back about how Destiny, when that was first revealed, in my mind, that was going to be my jam for the Xbox One generation. I was ready for that to be my thing. And I got in the alpha. I did the alpha stuff, and I never came back. We dabbled in Destiny 2 last year a couple times, but outside of that, I've been gone from Bungie for 10 years now, essentially. So I was excited to come back into it. And I immediately backed out. I texted you in Discord. I was like, I tuned out of stream very shortly after the reveal. Um, Marathon, for context, is extraction shooter, so Escape from Tarkov, kind of DMZ in Call of Duty when that was a thing. You are a runner, a cybernetic mercenary, scouring the remains of a lost colony for fortune and power. Team up in crews of 3 as you battle rival runner teams and hostile security forces for weapons and upgrades. Survive, and everything you've scavenged is yours to keep for future runs on Tau Ceti 4, and if you are brave enough, a journey to the derelict marathon ship that hangs above. Um, yeah, I'm just so middle in the road of what they've shown. They spent a lot of time on, we wanted this super sleek art style that's very minimalistic, which, okay, yeah, it looks cool for a bit, but when you dig in deeper and it's launching with only 3 maps with 1 a year supposedly, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be rough to look at for that long and keep people interested, or what's gonna be the overall hook.
Yeah.
And because they even brought up, they're like, you die, you lose all your stuff, you have to start again, minimal equipment. You can take sponsorships from factions in the world that'll give you kind of like sponsored loadouts. But you, in my mind, I see this playing out as, I'm a casual person. I want to hop in, and you get in a map with people who have been running this for the past month and are fully kitted out and gear wise are better, which makes it a stronger uphill battle for you. Not impossible. They brought up stuff like smoke grenades, and there's different equipment that can give you an upper hand
Yeah.
on certain teams, but
Well, and if I can jump off here, because
yeah.
so I also watched Skill Up's review where they got go hands on with it and actually play the game. They did a 30-minute ish video about it, and they were saying it felt more, and then through conversations with the dev team as well, it didn't seem like the intention was to funnel all player teams that are on the same map. It doesn't seem like the intention is to funnel them together to culminate in a fight, right? It's more of they want you to, it's like a strike, or like you're in an open world Destiny patrol and you're just doing stuff, right? So they want you to drop in, and then obviously you're all on the edges of the map and you end up going towards the center. But based on Scale Up's review, it seems more like they want you to do some of the activities they have, go collect the loot that's all around to then extract. And perhaps when you're doing some of the activities that you can collect while out on a map, you may run into a team and you'll deal with it then. But it's almost not a guaranteed thing that you will have to run into a team. It's almost like you can choose to play it really, really safe it seems like there's a lot of variety. The maps are full of enemy NPCs, which skill up. They're difficult. The way they kind of describe them as if you play Destiny, they're like a fallen captain on one difficulty above normal, right? Like they're not. They're a challenge if you don't give them the time of day and respect them, right? They can get you. So there's apparently a ton of enemies throughout the world. So to me, it sounds like a Destiny open world zone that you load into. You go do a couple activities. You have these NPCs that aren't a cakewalk, that take some dedication. You may run into enemy teams. Maybe that's what you want to do, but that's not something that is the point of this game, it seems. So while, yeah, you lose all your loot and now other teams may have a hand on, like, up on you, you actually may not even see, you don't have to see teams. You can drop into a town, it seems, run over, collect loot, and then extract right away. Like, it seems to be a little more casual than what a hardcore extraction shooter is. I have not played many, or if I don't even know what extraction shooters I've played. So
DMZ
that's where
is
I'm
it
at
for
with
me.
that genre. Yeah, and even then, I think I went in and got one gun and left.
Yeah, it's a quote from their stream yesterday, which to me is kind of what they're banking is what catches on with this game. You will lose a lot, and losing hurts a lot. Extracts are snapshots of this unpredictability. That white knuckle countdown may become a gut punch defeat, an unforgettable clutch, a desperate last second dive into the portal as your downed allies watch in envy and horror, or an unnerving anticlimax. It's not always a pleasant one, but it is a strong emotional hook. Uh, they follow up. Bungie expects average exfil rates to be comfortably below 50%. So yeah, I think if they're able to get that across and for people to accept that, especially streamers and content creators, of hey, this isn't trying to be, like I said, you need to be top dog all the time, taking everyone out, and they do it a more uh open world way that you described, I feel like that could be what carries it along. It's a weird line to talk about, even discuss, because you brought up Concord, that failed with $40 experience. Um, with arguably more content at launch, which
Yeah.
again, comparing apples to oranges of what content means for these games, but they really need to do a number on selling the price point and why you need to get into this by September, which I was also shocked. This is out September 23rd this year. It is a very short turnaround. Awesome. We say all the time, give us more of that. I was
Yeah, they have
expecting
a
spring
closed.
next year.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be next year based on how it looked. But yeah, they said they're going to be doing closed alpha at the end of this month and a couple more stuff going on. So your boys signed up. So hopefully I get an invite into that. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of let down after their reveal, but I got more into it after watching and seeing other people talk about it and explain it. It is a bummer that it's a $40. We don't know. There's nothing confirmed. There's a price tag to it. It's not going to be the full price, a $70, $80 game. So I expect it, yeah, to be the Helldivers range. We'll see. But yeah, just content wise, what else is there? Based on what Scale-Up was saying, there's lots, where's the hook of the game to keep me coming back? They mentioned a map that they talked about that will not be there on release, which is unfortunate. Like, so they're like, hey, we have something coming, but it won't be there on launch. But apparently this map has Destiny 2 raid-like mechanics or like dungeon-like mechanics. So if that's where this game is going, where you're hopping in and it's a multiplayer world and you have like these big events and there's mechanics across the map that require multiple teams to do. So it's like a weird truce. Like, okay, are we going to help each other out? And then like there's something there, right? I could see where it goes, but for the first showing and for knowing that this is going to cost something, I think people are cautiously worried, and I would be the same way. I think that's justified. I don't think they've done enough to be like, they didn't shake the world. It was just like, oh, Bungie extraction shooter. All right.
Yeah.
No, but I see it. There's a lot of, I see the parallels from what they're doing, what they have done in Destiny, how it can carry them here through mechanics and world events that aren't just PvP, but are also having NPCs around. Like, they have that so unlocked. So I feel like that will feel good. It's just, again, what's the hook? Like, why should I pay this? And why will I keep coming back over and over and over if I'm essentially losing everything at some point? I got legendary shit. What if I just never touch it again? I got my great loadout. I'm happy, and I leave as a runner on top. You know, like, is that going to happen? Or is that just part of the extraction genre? I don't know. We'll see. But I do think they have to do some more work to get people on board. The closed betas or closed alphas, unfortunate because it's closed. You know, I even had to say I would sign an NDA to sign up for it. You know, all of it's confidential. I think more people need to see gameplay and be able to talk about it for maybe to make more sense for everyone.
Yeah. It's more than a top level worry too for people like us who
Oh
are
man, yeah.
on the end of things. Just where Bungie is, like I mentioned, being under PlayStation now. There's been rumors of the full takeover. What's going on with Destiny 2 right now and how updates are for that. Project Gummy Bears in the background. Like there's so many moving pieces that this could overall affect. And I in my mind, I don't see a middle ground road that this hits where it lands and it's okay. I think it's either gonna go down a Concord route, not as fast. I don't think that's ever gonna happen again. But end of the year, player base dying off, or it's gonna go the Helldivers 2 route and become an absolutely massive thing for 3, 4, or 5 months. And that's what carries it through the year and gives Sony that backing of we need to continue this, move on with Destiny. Because now too, that is 3 teams within Bungie working on stuff. How long
Yeah.
is it gonna be for maps in this? Because yeah, 3
Well,
maps,
Gummy Bears is now under PlayStation, I thought.
yeah, I think it's the Bungie
But
staff who
Bungie's
just
still
moved
working.
over, I think.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean, it definitely has the over. If this doesn't work, what's going on with Bungie? Because there's already so much turmoil that we know about and we've seen. Yeah. The it's a certain type of landscape to release an extraction shooter into right now. But I'm hopeful that taking a step back, starting the stream off with people just talking also should set the precedent of what they're doing with this game. They said multiple times they want to build it with the community. So they're starting with a conversation. While I didn't like that, I think it's weird to reveal it. That shows you where they are in the game. Does this come out September? Probably. I bet they need that financial benefit. And also, what else is coming out for Sony? Right? There's like nothing. So this is something for them to release. But I just think if you're patient with it and let it grow and find its feet, you'll be fine. Bungie does have a hardcore audience. Like I said, if you were on the Discord before this got revealed, there were secret codes and URLs and strings being like deciphered and like talked about all through this Discord. And like I had my DAC, whatever the hell a DAC is, way before the stream happened. Like they have been like slowly ramping up on this. There's a hardcore community of Bungie followers who will get into the lore because we didn't touch much about. We didn't talk much about the story here, but it seems like the story will be released through like things you can find in the world, collectibles, little lore drops, and such like that. A hardcore community will get really deep into that, especially if there are puzzles to solve, especially if there's a raid map, like with a map with raid like mechanics. Like you will have that community there. So I don't think so. It just requires Bungie or Sony not to shut it down after 14 days. And if Marathon releases with the same player count as Concord, would they shut it down? Right? Like, I don't know. I don't think they should. I think they need to let it breathe. Bungie is totally different than a studio's. I don't know if Conquer's first. Was that their first game? That studio?
yeah.
Either way, Bungie has a history, right? And I think they're able to probably eat more money to then make profits as opposed to Concord being like, oh man, you're not making any profits. We gotta go.
I wonder. I just thought about this. I wonder if there was any discussion or what the highs and lows of doing this. If this whole idea of Marathon, you take the idea, you take the loadouts, you take the kits, stuff like that, and they just added it as a thing in Destiny. Like, would that even have been possible to? Obviously, not to the level of like,
Yes.
hey, you got upgrade. Like,
Yes.
it's
100%. Let me play as Saladin, Shax, Commander Ikora. You know, like let me play as Cade City. Like the iconic people that just stand there and go, hey, here's a thing. let me play as them during the height of their time. And oh yeah, we're building the city. I need a team of guardians to go out and extract shit from outside the last city because we have nothing out there. There you go.
Yeah, see, that to me is a way safer way of
Should I get into game design, or is it easy just to see something and like jump off of it?
Well, yeah, it's easy from a distance when you're not head first in it for years on end.
Nah, I think I'm just a genius and they're dumb. That's a totally normal take to have.
We're losing Kyle on the podcast.
I totally could have, and like I think I don't know what Marathon is outside of that. I couldn't tell you what the game Marathon is. Not this game, of course, that we're seeing that's coming out. The old one, I don't know what it is. I have no clue. After all this time, I still don't know what type of game that play is. Is it a first-person shooter? Probably, maybe not. I don't know. Like, so I guess it's like a brand new game to me at this point. Like, this is a brand new IP to me, and it's like, all right, interesting. And I feel like a lot of people are like that as well.
Yeah, the Marathon has an IP. I talked about this with someone on Twitter about this actually, because they were confused of why the name is on it because it has nothing to do with the old ones. And I'm like, at this point, the ratio of people who actually played Marathon back in the day compared to those who only know of it because of like the Halo Easter eggs and just the underlying lore over all everything Bungie's done is so incredibly insane that that number doesn't matter. I've never heard of Marathon before Halo 3. Like, that was not a major game to me growing up where compared to Doom or Wolfenstein or Quake or whatever it be. Like, that's, to me, is such a niche thing that, yeah, you could throw it on here. It's not going to bring a fan base in, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
That doesn't. If anything, you have to almost overcome that in a way because it's a new IP, but not. So what's the old one? I don't know the old one. Do I need? And then you're like, it's that weird pigeonhole there. So fascinating. We'll see. I really do hope I get in to get hands on it because at the end of the day, even today, Destiny has had some low points and there were still dedicated people making videos and playing week to week, right? I think Marathon can get there. I hope the gunplay will be good because Bungie is Bungie and Destiny is still so damn good feeling playing. But Marathon will be that, and like they'll figure that stuff out. It's just the business, right? Knowing if the audience will be there for them and they make enough money. They do have it everywhere. Concord was only PlayStation, right? So or in Steam, but Marathon's on Xbox, on probably Switch eventually.
Are you saying PlayStation is putting a game on Xbox? Wild.
Yeah, not even their first one. So like their fourth. Calm down.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah. So very interested to see where this ends up. I was hoping for a bigger feeling, but it was, I don't know. I feel like everyone's just let down, but this is a game still in alpha. Crazy that it comes out later this year still.
Yeah, that's like I was probably the biggest thing from the entire thing for me was the data. I was like, oh damn. But
yeah.
Moving on. Last little news thing for the day to wrap us up here. Because there's not a lot to go off of, but as I mentioned, I'm all about the hype, Kyle. We got the official date of the Xbox Games Showcase 2025, Sunday, June 8th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am off that weekend. I will be live streaming reactions as I did last year personally. But following the showcase, to my surprise, this year's Direct is on the Outer Worlds 2, which was not even in my top 5 games I thought it would have been this year. But yeah, hey, no, Obsidian's popping off.
Yeah, so that means like for sure this game probably comes out because Xbox has been pretty consistent with whatever they show off. It comes out that year. So, and again, hey, last year we should have got Avowed last fall, and then a year later you would have got Outer Worlds 2. What a cadence. So it makes sense. Like they just polished Avowed. Like it could have came out last year, but still fascinating. I'm excited. I'm bummed I counterpicked Outer Worlds 2 because I was hoping out of all the counter picks on our thing, it was like, all right, I'll do this one. I was like, damn it.
Like, oh god, it's gonna be great.
I can't wait for this game. So, and the fact that it's getting a Direct, I hope this is up there in size of Fallout 3, Fallout 4, size. That's just an easy comparison. Obviously, still Obsidian size, but like they said, it's double the size of Outer Worlds. And if they're getting a direct, these things are 25 to 30 plus minutes long after the showcase. So I expect them to have some stuff to talk about, some things to show off. I'm that makes me real excited for Outer Worlds too. So as disappointing as it is for the counter pick, man, 2 Obsidian games in 1 year and Avowed hit. I loved Avowed, so can't wait.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah,
was
surprise.
That was my initial reaction. I was like, oh shit, they're going all in on Outer Worlds too. Because I have said, like, it obviously didn't hit for me, and I want the next one to do it. Like, just the lineage of what the directs have been. You have Starfield to Black Ops 6 to now Outer Worlds 2. If they're putting it on that type of pedestal to give it its whole own thing like this, they are coming out swinging. And I hope it hits.
It's coming out everywhere, right? Outer Worlds is one of those titles that's everywhere.
That was the big thing at the Game Awards. Yeah, it'll be PS5 launch day.
Was that the big thing at the Game Awards? Was that the big thing? Is that what we took out of the Game Awards?
For controversy. Big controversy at the Game Awards.
I'm just yucking your yums a little bit.
Oh, yeah, day and date, PS5, Xbox, and
yes.
PC on BattleNet and everywhere.
Oh yeah, they're doing that play everywhere thing where you can buy this like and own it like on 5 different places. That's not accurate, but like 3.
Yeah, it's interesting. The other thing with this that has come out, if you are lucky enough to go to the live events before, this year is not having any sort of live event, which I'm sure is due to a multitude of reasons I don't want to dive into because I'm a downer, but shit's expensive to put on.
They hate fans. They don't want fans to boo us. That's not what it's for.
Shit's
Look at the economy. They can't. It's unsafe for people to travel. Like they just can't. That's the reality. But yeah, we can air to that stuff.
Yeah,
people would boo them.
Excited. This means now that we got the date. I've been putting the Xbox calendar thing on the back burner the past couple weeks as a topic. It's got to happen next week or the week after. And now we start planning for this year's prediction show because, God, this year could be wild. Do they just go all out this year as a full third-party show and this is what we're doing? Are we getting you roll your eyes, but I say that in a way of, is this the showcase we get the Halo Nintendo Switch 2 trailer? Is this the show we get the Diablo Nintendo Switch trailer? Like, whatever that is. Yeah. Do they do that here, or is it its own separate thing? That's what I'm curious to see if that shows up.
I think they will bring out someone from Nintendo. I think they will show how deep the partnership is. Yeah, no, I think there was one. Yeah, Microsoft was not there. And unless Microsoft is all of a sudden going to give them the middle finger and say, we're making our own handheld, they're not going to do. Yeah, 100%. I expect them to show off the games here. Can't wait. On Switch and such.
Can't wait.
But they also, the rumor was Switch was having their they had first party focus, then they went to third party later on. So honestly, it makes sense so it makes sense if later after the fact. But I can see Microsoft being like, no, we'll put our stuff everywhere, but we announce it. Like, right? Well, I don't care where it goes, but at our showcase, we're telling you where you can play Xbox games. Xbox will be everywhere. Anything's an Xbox. Your foot's an Xbox. And I'm going to let you know what you can play on that foot.
I'm curious now. Yeah, there was something I wanted to throw in.
But I got you thinking about feet now.
I was like, my toes. God, I forget. I'll get back to it eventually, but yeah, it's 2 months away now. We're under 2 months away already. So it's that time of year. Last night, Kyle, I sat down, turned on the YouTube. What do I want to watch? Well, let's start last year. 2023 Xbox Showcase. Let's rewatch this bad boy. Start going back. I'm a psychopath.
Last year was 2024.
2020. Yeah, 2024. Sorry. It was good. It gets to the South of Midnight trailer, and it's just the exact start of that one chapter with Two-Toed Town. I'm like, oh, they just ripped this exactly out. Nice.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. They just ripped it. It's like, oh, this is from that one preview. Like,
It's good. I'm a
Yeah.
crazy
No,
person.
I'm excited. I mean, yeah, Xbox can do a lot of stuff here, and we have Fable. Supposedly this year we have Gears. Oh no, Fable. Did they
Fable's
delay that
delayed.
already?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I
That
was like,
was fall, and then it got delayed like 2 months ago.
hard to remember. But yeah, we still have E-Day still, which again, I understand why you don't show that off here. And man, Perfect Dark. Do we see that?
Well, that
Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell.
E-Day was my thing for the direct because there's been rumors
Nah,
so
that's
much that it's,
boring.
but it's, everyone's like, oh, it's a 2025 game. I'm like, is it
But what
now?
is there? But think that's true. I do. I think it's more. There's more of a chance that it's not this year. However, what do you show off in a Gears trailer, E-Day? Look how cool and realistic it looks with Unreal 5. If that's, I forget if that's what they're using.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just Gears gameplay, so I see it more as opening the
But what
show,
if it's
or here's
not?
one more thing, and it's a game. It's a gameplay segment of them running through with Marcus and Dom, and they're talking, and it's like, oh my god, our boys are back and they're young, and it's just a gameplay segment, and that's all you kind of need for that, honestly.
But
Because
what
Outer
if,
Worlds 2, what? That, I think you want to build that little more, and you know people will be there. You just need to show people a trailer, and they're there for E-Day.
but what if they go full survival with E-Day, and it's not just a running gun shooter, and it is actually like hiding out places, planning attacks on individual locusts, and like fundamentally changes how you play a Gears game. That's been the thing. It's like this is the start of everything. They're not used to fighting them. They don't know how to counteract locusts. Like, I don't know. In my mind,
Yeah,
there's
and you're
so
going to be
much.
running and gunning even more so than ever because
Yeah.
with the power of the Xbox Series X and Unreal, uh, no, I think yeah, I see what you're saying. Sure, but I think it's more no. You just get to even be you get to lean more into the horror vibes and like the running and gunning, and everything's faster now tech wise. This shit's going to be looking pretty, and you're going to be doing a lot. I hate the game you described.
Okay. Sorry. I'm not a game
Do
designer.
you want?
Unlike
Wait,
you.
are you like down for a survival-y more Gears?
A little bit, honestly.
Really?
I would not, maybe
Wow.
not that much, but I'm down for a change in formula. In my mind, 4 came out, I played through, and it felt like almost immediately they dropped 5 on us. I'm like, this is a lot of Gears right after another. Like, I need a break. And now we've had that break, but I'm still like,
And
I don't know. I'm also someone, I played Gears late. I didn't play Gears 1 till like the year before 4 came out. And me and my buddy in Michigan, we went through all of them before 4 came out. So I got to them late. I didn't have the nostalgia for the Love Vader getting to Horde mode when it was a big thing. Like,
oh yeah, I didn't do all that either. I was only single player stuff, and I never beat 3. I only beat 1 and 2, and then I did 4 and 5 fully.
yeah, yeah. I would be down
But
for something new. And I think not a reset, but starting at the beginning is a chance to do that. But we'll see.
yeah, no, if they had that, that sounds boring. I don't want more survival-y stuff in my in a game like that. Like, you make it a technical showcase, a beautiful looking game for or third person cover based gameplay, back to the thing, and big cinematic moments where things are popping out and you're flung off of a train after you were spent shooting things that were attacking your train, and now you're flying in the air and these things grab you in the air and now you're flying, and it's like and everything's happening quickly, like it's chaos and you're seeing destruction all over everywhere because it's E-Day. That's what I want. I want a first person solid single player. No, co-op
First
campaign,
person.
because Gears is. No. You know what? I'm sorry. Third
Well, you want to
person,
change what Gears
or
is.
the option. No, third person tactical cover based gameplay, co-op optional. You know, that's what Gears is. Give us that. You're going back to the roots. You're gonna give us that.
We'll see. 2 months. Like you said, though, yeah, Fable, Perfect Dark, Clockwork Revolution should be back. It wasn't there last year. The next game from In Exile.
Oh my god, there's so many damn
So
games.
many. Double Fine, where you at? Show up. You were supposed to surprise drop a game last year, according to all the insiders, and you didn't. Let me down, Tim Schafer. But we'll get to that in the upcoming weeks as we build up to June 8th. And that'll do it for us here on this April 13th episode of the Download Queue. Tune out here so I can go have dinner, and I'm going to go watch some Minecraft movie tonight because it's chicken jockey.
Oh my god, have fun. That's crazy.
Half hour, I'm going, so.
Fun time, fun time. Yeah. Next week, Easter, WrestleMania, and my wife's birthday. So I'll let you. We'll see what goes
Oh.
on and when we record.
Yeah, if you need to move that around, I can.
We might just do that to make it easy. So
Oh, I forgot Mania's next weekend. Now that you said,
I know, and it's Mania. That's why it's crazy next weekend. So hopefully nothing huge happens and we can. Yeah, who knows? Who
we may be
knows?
coming at
There's
you on
so
a
much
Monday
going on
episode
next.
again.
Yep.
God.
Or as we're watching Mania.
Till
All right.
next time, Kyle the Do, all the socials, Twitter, Twitch, Blue Sky, not Twitter, we stopped saying that. Badlands Backlogs for me, download queue is available tomorrow, Monday morning on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, all the major places you would like to find us on. Drop a like, follow, comment, share. Everything you do helps us. Till next time, happy gaming, be good to each other, stay safe. Have a good Mania week.